Hi, this is Tom George with Kudum's AI, and welcome back. In this video, we're going to see an example of how the tiniest detail can make the biggest difference. So in our last video, we made substantial progress in customizing our LP Concierge chatbot to make a strong first impression. Now, continuing in that theme, let's focus on a small but significant element of the chatbot, the input helper text. You know, the faint or small text you see in the input field of the chatbots. It's not the only thing that matters, of course, but it does play a crucial role in initiating a smooth, engaging user experience. Think of it like the opening line in a conversation. It sets the tone and lets the other person know what to expect. This small tweak can indeed make a big difference. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We have to start by logging in, so let me scroll up, click on Login, and now we are in the Kudum's AI platform. And where do we always go? We always go over to Agents, and now we're looking at files, chatbot files or agent files. And you're looking at an array of files that I've been working on, but the one that we've been working on together in the video is this one. Okay, and this page, for those of you who have been watching the videos, should look very familiar by now. And in our last video, you may recall that our aim was to make a great first impression with our chatbot. And we did that, first of all, by changing the title. Before, it was just called Leadership Passport. And I should stop here for those of you who are just joining us. Leadership Passport is the name of a company that my wife happens to own and for which we are building a chatbot. This company caters to C-suite executives, and so we want to create that executive feel. We want to give that level of sophistication, that premium feel. And so we thought, instead of just saying your virtual assistant or your chatbot, we needed to step it up. First with the title, calling it a concierge, and then just to continue with that theme. And we had the bot introduce itself as the Leadership Passport Concierge and so forth. And let me stop here because I have a little surprise for those of you that have been following all of this. And that is, you may recall in the last video, we created an image and it looked like a little robot dressed up in a concierge uniform. And when I did the video, I felt good about that. But after thinking about it, after reflecting on it, I thought, we need to do a little better. So let me show you what we've come up with now. That's our new concierge. She's still clearly a robot, but very human looking and highly sophisticated. She looks like a concierge working in a big high-end hotel. You can tell she's still a robot because we want to keep that robotic theme, and so her ears look more like robotic earpieces. Her cheeks have a metallic look to them in certain portions, and her neck has that robotic look as well. But otherwise, she's a very sophisticated looking concierge. So I think that gives us a better image. All right, so enough about that. I just wanted to acknowledge that. And now we want to get down to our purpose, and that is to talk about the input helper text field. That's right here. Let me move this up a little. And guess what? We already have an input helper text in the field. What does it say? Type your request/question. Now the truth is, why am I taping a video, or however we want to say that, for an input helper text if the platform already provides one? Well, the reason is very simple. While that is perfectly fine, it answers the mail, it certainly guides the user in what they need to do. What it doesn't do, in my opinion, is continue that premium feel, that executive level feel, that concierge sense. And so for that reason, I want to change the text. So what do I want to change it to? I want to ask something like, ask me your question or connect here. Why do I want to do that? Because the chatbot talks about the different kinds of things that she can do for the user. One is to answer questions about LP services, programs, and events. The other is to connect the user either with Dr. George, our principal, my wife also, and or assist with scheduling a consultation. I want to cover those two things, but I need to do it in such a way that all of it is visible in the field. Now, it can go beyond the visible part, but I don't want it to. I want it to be like this. So the phrase, again, I've come up with is ask me your question or connect here. So question, connect. Question, connect. So that's my rationale. Now, let's go and see how we can make that change. How have we done it so far? All of the customizations that we have done, we always had to start, obviously, with an existing file, and so we had to go to the Edit button. So we click on that Edit button, and we go to Customization, just as we did in our last video, and then we scroll down, and this should be familiar territory for many of you. And we keep scrolling until we hit what? The input helper text right here. This is where we put our customized helper text. So let's type that in. And you see a lot of things here because I've been in here before, but we're going to type that in. Ask me your question or connect here. And I also want to put my ellipses, but because I already know we're going to run out of space, I am not going to put the typical space after the last word before starting my ellipses. I'm going to start immediately. So for my 3 dots, my first dot is immediate after the E in the word here. And then I put my second dot, and of course my third dot, and we have our ellipses. And in IT and in this sort of thing, this is perfectly acceptable, and that's what we need to do in order for this input helper text to remain visible. So now that we've made the change, what do? What we always do. We scroll down to the bottom and save the change. All right, so now we're back, and let's look at the input field. Has it changed? Yes, it is now customized. It says again, ask me your question or connect here. And you see 2 out of the 3 dots in the ellipses. And again, as I said, that's perfectly fine. So now what we have done is we have continued that feeling that we started with. It's a concierge, she's providing curated guidance, she's answering questions, and she's even connecting people if they want to connect. And she says, this is how you interact with me, right here in this spot, in the input helper text. Okay, so what have we learned? We've learned that just a few words can shift the entire tone. Ask me your question or connect here doesn't just invite input, it reimagines the field as a concierge desk. It's more personal, it's more branded, it's more inviting. That subtle change encourages deeper engagement and reinforces the bot's role as a helpful guide. So, I think this takes us back to my opening statement that the tiniest detail can have the biggest difference. Hey, thank you so much for joining, and I hope you can join us in our next video. So until then, this is Tom George with Kudum's AI, signing off.